I want to talk about that. There was a story Wallace did in the Sentinel last week about some of your adventures in Gaza. Let's back up.
Sure.
Why did you decide to go to Gaza? You went to bringing a mural to install the idea, correct me here if I'm wrong, the idea was you were creating a mural to install at a women's center in Gaza. Where did this idea come from? What were you thinking?
So this summer I went to a Peace Convergence conference in Cambria. Medea Benjamin was there.
If peace were to converge, that's exactly where I think it would.
Don't you think? It was beautiful. So Medea Benjamin was there. She had seen my Counting Lives Lost piece. And I know you guys know about that, where I've made one clay figure for every person who died in Iraq. And
Absolutely.
been working on that for 6 years. It's ongoing. We'll put it up again.
We featured it on our show years ago, didn't we?
And did we get a Gail Rich for that?
No.
Go on.
So Medea sees this and she says, she told this story about being in Gaza. She's been 6 times in the last year. She had been invited into a tent by a refugee. There's tents all over the place. She goes into the tent. It's a woman by herself. At the back of her tent, there's like this little mini altar. On the altar, pictures of the house and her husband and her kids, which she doesn't have anymore. All she has is this tent. She's invited Medea in for tea. They're having tea. And she says to Medea, I have a souvenir from the United States of America. Medea's like, how is this possible? I'd like to see it. She goes over to the same altar where all these pictures are. She picks up this twisted piece of shrapnel, which is stamped on it, made in the USA. Medea tells me the story, and I couldn't have felt worse if it had said, sent by Kathleen. I mean, I feel that personally connected to what my tax dollars do. I mean, that's why I did the initial Iraq War piece. So a couple hours later...
That's why Jeff doesn't pay taxes.
Yeah.
I'd love to get away with that.
He doesn't make
That
money.
and the lack of income.
There you go. Yeah, so Medea asked me to bring a memorial to Gaza.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay.
That would be hard to say, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like the Pied Piper.
Sure.
I mean, she just draws people.
Did she have an idea of where it would go, what the content would be? What?
That initial conversation happened in August, and it took us until the first week in November to know what we were going to bring and how it was going to manifest itself. We had lots and lots and lots of conversations, and it was between me and Medea and some women in Gaza.
Okay.
It was initially, so I'm a community artist, and I don't want to be a Western artist who plops her artwork in somebody's community and walks away from it. It was really important to me that that community be involved and that my own community be involved. So we spent 600 hours here. There were over 60 people, not just artists, but people within the community who helped me make this, set the glass in place.
Sure.
The image was a combination of from a woman in Gaza, a woman artist in Gaza, and Anna Oniglia and myself. It was a compilation image. And it was supposed to go on a women's center.
Okay.
The women's centers in Gaza have been closed because they were sponsored by Fatah, and Hamas has closed them. But I didn't know this. It's been this slow erosion of rights for women, and it accelerated recently, pretty quickly.
So the plan at this point was to go, and you left just before the Christmas holiday season. The plan was to go. Fly into Cairo and travel to the Women's Center. Still, the plan was to install it at the Women's Center and install it and
meet women,
feel great, meet women,
have a
conversation, have a connection, come home and get back to teaching middle school students here in our county. So the plan seems like it worked until you got to the airport here.
It worked until on the 24th of December, the foreign minister of Egypt made this big international public television address. We don't support the Gaza Freedom March. No one's getting in. So
the Gaza Freedom March is something you aligned yourself with to go there. What was your connection?
I was making the mural, and I was going in at the same time as the Gaza Freedom March,
which Code Pink and Medea Benjamin were organizing. And the Freedom March was the point of the Freedom March was.
To bring international attention to awareness to the situation in Gaza.
Okay, so you fly in. The Egyptian Prime Minister said,
"No one's going in.
Ain't gonna happen."
At this point, my
Because?
husband, it got to be a real political thing. I think Egypt was being pressured by the United States and Israel not
okay.
to let it happen.
Okay, so but you're on your way.
But we're already in Cairo. We're not liking Cairo too much, and we
What's not to like?
Come this way, my dear American friend. I'll lead you this way into my shop where you must buy perfume and drink my tea. And it was just like craziness all over the place.
Right.
So,
Especially when Christmas was already happening over here. Have to buy over here too? Oh, Lord.
yeah, there you go.
That was good, huh?
No, well, we had this very nice guy tell us that tourists in Cairo are like manna from heaven, that the money falls from our pockets and people just pick it up off the street. And so they were looking for that.
So
We escaped Cairo because we didn't want to be involved in the politics, and there was a small chance that a few people would get in.
Okay.
And the closer you were to the border, the more chance you would get in. And I just wanted to get the mural in, and I didn't want to be involved in the whole political stuff that was happening in Cairo.
So let me ask you this, and I wish we had an hour to talk about this because it's just such a rich and
Rich.
well, I mean, you just came up after experience that was so profound and enlightening in some ways about just how you as an artist over there relating to and not only what you were doing over there, but I want to at some point talk about what was going on here relative to what you were doing and the kind of what you were hearing back from the United States. But the kind of to make a long story simple, you didn't get to the Women's Center, but talk us through the next few days getting into Gaza.
Oh, that would take hours. I mean, we had a James Bond adventure, minus the gowns, minus the drinking, minus the party, just the police and the scary running around being chased kind of stuff. We were under house arrest, and it was really uncomfortable.
But ultimately you were able to get
ultimately
the
we got
mural
in.
up, but not where you intended.
No.
Where did the mural end up?
The United Nations Work and Relief Center wall, which is on University Avenue. Like the Muslim University and the Women's University are on the same street, and it's a very nice, big, open public place. Hamas wanted it. They wanted to co-opt it. We averted that eventuality.
Now, do you think it's going to stay up and be safe at the UN building?
I actually do think so. The UN was really excited about getting it. Mm-hmm. And it's just literally 10 feet away from their very heavily guarded gate.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I want to bring up one point where I'm sorry we're running out of time. We have a couple minutes left, but some of the response you've been getting from back home has been mixed, and I want to read a quote that was in the Sentinel the other day from Rabbi Richard Litvak of Temple Bethel, who said regarding you, if you're going to express compassion, she needs to have compassion for the Israeli victims of the 7-year campaign of attacks from Hamas as well, the Israeli victims. Her art would be better served bringing the world's attention to how Hamas has created and maintained the misery of the people of Gaza. What's your response?
I would be very happy to do a mural in Israel as well. Somebody wants to commission me to go to Israel, I'm an artist, and bringing up issues that people can talk about is important to me. There's been negative feedback from my trip, but people are talking about Gaza, they're talking about Palestine, and it wasn't happening before.
Right.
So I'm happy.
Will you come back and talk to us more?
Yeah, sure.
Sometime. So thank you so much. You have a blog that has a lot of this out.
A great blog.
I feel bad we're kind of cutting this short because there's so much to talk about. Congratulations, though. It sounds like just a beautiful project, and I'm glad it got up there. We'll see you at the Gail Rich Awards.
Okay.
Where can we see, where can we read your adventure?
Tomorrow night, 7 p.m., Loudon Nelson Center, I'm doing a 40-minute presentation with slides and pictures.
Excellent.
At Loudon Nelson Center.
At Loudon
That's
Nelson
tomorrow
Center.
night, Thursday night.
7
Great.
p.m.
And where can we read your blog?
Community art activism.
Online.
Yeah, .blogspot.com.
All right, on the inner tubes.
Yeah.
Okay,
On
great.
the tubes.
Thank you,
Super.
Kathleen. Congratulations on your Gail Rich Award. Go see the Gail Rich Awards this month, everyone.